Hello viewers, it's glad to know you're watching your program. It is Economic Insight and I'm your host Paul Kingsley. Now, in continuation with the ongoing report we are doing on housing deficits in Nigeria, today we are taking a topical look at the various challenges affecting Nigerians on owning a home in Nigeria today. Now, if you look at Nigeria today, we have a series of issues where most people are unable to afford a home. We're talking about a home, not house, a home of their own. Now, according to the world report that we have, over 17 million housing deficit is what Nigeria is having today in the industry. But it's quite unfortunate. But now, doing justice to that is the Managing Director, CEO of PMHS Homes. I'm talking of architect Giwa Azan. He's going to be giving us their own contribution to the development of the housing sector. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I'll be back after this time out. Thank you.
Considering the importance globally attached to housing provision, PMHS Homes is striving to providing innovative solutions to the housing sectors of the economy. Mr. Hassan Giwa is the Group Managing Director of PMHS Homes.
My name is Architect Hassan Giwa. I'm an architect. I'm the MD Amron Global Services Limited, MD PMHS Homes. Amron Global Services Limited is a developer of PMHS Homes. Yes, and the property managers is Astalink Development Limited. So one of the projects we've handled is PMHS Homes, which is one of our estate projects. We actually have 3 phases that are completed and occupied. We currently have the phase 4 currently going on now. I'm an architect. I'm a developer. I'm in the real estate industry.
His inspiration to the real estate development is driven by the desire to deliver quality and affordable homes to Nigerians.
Well, it's actually a teamwork. What I believe is very important to play a role or contribute your own quota, no matter how small, in any society you find yourself. And being an architect, one of the things I enjoy, as they used to say, when people are panic, they consult lawyers. When people are ill, they consult physicians. When people are ready to have a shelter, they consult the architect. So architects see people at their best. So that's one of my priority. That's one of my belief, what I have passion for. Construction, designing, and trying to put smile in people's face, no matter how little it could be. And, looking at the environment, what we have today, accommodation, housing has become a major challenge. And if you have your home, in my own faith and my understanding, it's like having your own home. It's just like they have half of your secret is covered. So whatever you hit inside, people don't need to know. Landlord will not need to come and bombard you or harass you over anything. So we've been thinking deeply to see how can we achieve this without necessarily people doing things out of pocket, avoiding people to be out of pocket, owning a home. And that's what actually brought us to this stage.
Through the use of cutting-edge technology, PMHS Homes is highly equipped with skilled and experienced professionals with special interests in real estate development and construction services.
We've had a lot of corporate projects which we've handled, by Amron Global Services Limited and Astalink Development Limited. One of our projects is PMHS Homes. This is one of our phases which you are now. Is our phase 2, actually our phase 2 PMHS Home Estate. So we have our phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we actually have our phase 4 that is currently going on now. Not limited to that, we also have private individuals that we work for in terms for private residents, at different capacity, maybe schools, maybe they are private residentials, and so on and so forth, within Abuja and beyond. We have projects in mini estate in Ibadan, we call it Broadgate Court, and some other ones we are also embarking. We are also hoping to start one in Kuje soon. We want to start some in Life Camp. So we have other projects scattered around that we are currently working on, that we have worked on in the past, and that we're also planning to move on to soon. There is what we tag as super flexible payment terms, but from experience that maybe most developers do is like they might say until you have 40%, 30%, they might say 40, 40, 20, 30, 30, 40, or any form of any percentage payment. But we came up with an idea of having a super flexible payment terms, which means you are not really tagged to, okay, I have to, until I have 40%, until I have 30%, I won't be able to start something. No, you can actually start with anything, no matter how small. And because from experience, we realized that some people that we've been able to work with in that kind of method, we realized that in a short while, it might be a year or two, they must have been able to pay so much. They will check their account and say, so I've been able to pay this much, and as we say, I don't have money. Because when you are saying someone to pay 20 or 30% initial deposit, which I think I can also understand why. Because the cost of the land is not cheap, building material is not cheap, and so on and so forth, right? But when you do this, somebody may want to look for 30, 40%. It might have about 10, 15% with them. Eventually, they are now looking for the difference to make up the initial commitment. Before they look for the other part, eventually maybe the what they have put together is no longer available. Maybe the responsibility has swallowed it, or something came up eventually that they no longer have that. But if you made it simple in such a way that they can actually start with almost anything, it will help them, because starting with anytime they are having, then they are bringing it, and they are seeing what they are putting their money on. And the goodwill is there, the integrity is there. People know Palmite that is an household name now, that people know that everybody are happy with it. Even people subscribers or residents that have houses in maybe a previous estate, they are willing to own in another new estate. They say anywhere you are going, we would like to follow you. So, and that's one of the good things that we are happy with. We've structured a lot of programs in order, because the main thing is we keep thinking, how can we make it easier, more convenient for people to own a home and things like that? How can we get to the deep, roots of it in terms of maybe medium, low income earners, and so we've been working on that really. That's why we have a scheme called own less than renting, or rent to own, and so on and so forth. But sometimes one of the challenges I can say we used to have is sometimes people might default. But no matter how simplified you've really made it to be, okay, give us posted check, structure the payment for like a year, 2 years, 3 years. Because if you approach a bank now, they say you want to take a loan to buy a car, almost all banks will jump at it to buy a car for 6, 7, 8 million. So if you're able to get it a house as within that range, I believe almost every bank will want to finance such. So not say 25, 30, the cheaper it is in terms of cost, not undermining the structure or the quality of the project. Of course, I believe a lot of people will be able to own a house easily. But the problem is government challenge in terms of providing necessary basic infrastructure, just like the access road and some other facility in terms of infrastructure that can enhance the value of any property that you are putting in. The challenge of also getting land has become a major obstacle in real estate industry, because unless maybe developers are using their ingenuity to get the land through other means to buy, which eventually you have to be paying lot higher to get to purchase a property, to purchase a land, which will in turn make the property to be a bit high in terms of the cost, right? So that's one of the challenges that we have in terms of assessing, getting the land, mortgage home too. They are also trying, but I believe they also need to double up the effort to probably do more. They're actually doing well. They are actually doing, but the time limit in terms of perfecting or putting the fund together is another challenge, that we are experiencing. The government have mentioned that, the side of the subscribers have mentioned that, and the other areas in terms of the building materials, the cost of the cement now, and so on and so forth. Those are the general view, which I believe that you're also aware of some of these challenges. Well, I don't really subscribe to that, because when you are talking about construction, you could work with turnover. If you are making about profit of 50, 100,000, 200, whatever, I'm just using, not to just for argument's sake. If you are building about 1,000 houses or so, of course you still get your profit. But the only thing that is making it difficult is the way what you have to go through to get the land. If the government can actually identify genuine developers and assist them in getting land at a very affordable rate, so eventually whatever you are putting on it will not affect the cost. You can actually get it as low as possible. So then you work with your building materials that you're going to use, that eventually the cost of it, just what I just mentioned now. Now if you are getting your house, let's say about 2-bedroom to about 7, 6, 7, 8 million naira, a lot of people will be able to buy, bank and finance easily, and you won't have any challenge, because when you are buying a car of 6, 7, 8 million and your bank is financing you for about over a period of 4 years, and you are paying and you're able to complete such payment, people will prefer to do that on a property than to invest such money on buying a vehicle or a car. The government is trying, and it's making a lot of effort, and the MD Federal Mortgage Bank too is also trying very, very well. I can say it's highly commendable, but I believe maybe they can also speed up in terms of the processing time and identify people, serious off-takers and so on and so forth, and see that they can liaise more with developers to also see how they can be of help and assist them, so that we can solve this challenge that we have on the housing deficit. Well, it's not that we do, but the only thing is maybe sometimes we can be a bit maybe certain things are not taken serious, or we are not emphasizing more or enough on what things that are really necessary. Even though I may also still have to blame some client too, right? That they may not want to engage a qualified professional in terms of maybe being an architect or engineer to do certain field. Some people may not like to invest much on that, because engaging a competent hand is where to start, and it's very, very important. So when you started with that, even sourcing your material and other thing becomes easier, and that's one of the challenge. So, but I believe Nigerians are wonderful people. They are highly interested in getting good quality and working with people, and that's the only thing I think we need to get right in the development in Nigeria. The problem that is associated with such is that a lot of people are not maybe willing to learn, to train themselves, or to get adequate training in order to perform efficiently well in those areas. That's another thing I can see. But in terms of project scale, people are good in Nigeria if you take your time to get competent hands. And that's the only thing that I can see I notice. But I believe people need to be more enlightened, so that they can engage. If you want to design, engage an architect. You don't have to be looking for a builder to design your house. If you want to do construction, you want to handle your project, engage qualified personnel to see to that. Structural engineer, a builder, and so on and so forth. When all that, and a licensed person too is also very important in any of the things that you are also working on. There are a lot of advice I've offered my workers and team on site, that sometimes you may be a tiler, and you realize that you are not very good at your job, you are not very good on your job, there's nothing stops you from engaging another tiler. Try to spend a little time with such a person to learn further on what you are doing. They won't see it on your forehead that you went further to go and do another, to learn further on what you are doing. You could be a mason person, any other carpenter, and so on and so forth. If you are not very good at your job, identify anybody that you think is better. Maybe a lot of people are patronizing him and they are saying you are getting good feedback from such person. Attach yourself and try to learn. But a lot of people, some people might be lazy and say, okay, I'm a boss myself. I'm also a boss, and I would like to go and attach myself to someone that is also good. But you won't learn, and you won't develop yourself with such attitude. And that's one of the things. And never always be focused, be consistent, and don't always, in whatever you do, whatever you think you can do today, don't leave it till tomorrow. Do it today and just clear your workstation and just move on to whatever you need to do. So just be determined and never give up on anything you desire to pursue. I'm an architect, I'm a developer, I also consult. We consult for people in terms of we are into consultancy services. We offer consultancy services, and even though beyond architecture, I've done some other training in intelligent building engineering, project management skills, and so on and so forth, just to boost and enhance and improve whatever the quality of the services that we render to our clients. I'm married with kids. So I don't know what else I should shed more light on, but that's what I could remember now.
Well, it's a fine place to live. It's almost a very big thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
In Nigeria today, mortgage finance schemes are still very much at an infancy stage in their adoption. Over the years, the lack of an efficient and effective mortgage financing has remained a huge albatross on the country.
For the mortgage system is not working in Nigeria because of the policy. If mortgage system will work in Nigeria, first of all, there must be a policy that is subscribers friendly. Subscribers range from low income earners to the middle class to the high up there. You talk about directors, you talk about the middle level officers and the low level officers. What these categories of people can access as mortgage financing cannot be the same. But come to think of it, a level 8 officer, for instance, can access probably lower than 15 million. Which house can 15 million buy in Abuja? That is less than a room apartment. This person in question will have a family. Eventually, one room apartment becomes uncomfortable and not sufficient for their need. So if we will say that we are, pushing forward a policy, it must be a policy that is worth its while, and the beneficiaries of the policies also must know that I am enjoying something. Any policy that puts pain on you, on your finances, because the moment you get the finance, you are paying back, and there had been some deductions even before then. All these put pressure on the finances of these people. At the end of the day, there is no comfort attached to these housing we are talking about. Then, on the social progress ladder, it's a failure. Now, for it to work, what government is going to give as part contribution into mortgage financing for those that are qualified must be substantial enough to bring them comfort.
The monetary policy for the financial institutions, I mean, these guys are in business. I mean, you don't want them to do business and lose. There are benchmarks for the cost of their funds and stuff like that. Maybe, for example, a commercial bank will always get money at a certain rate from the CBN. Of course, he has to add whatever he has to make to give to another person. The challenge here in this context is, let's say I have a house to sell for 10 million, and somebody wants to buy it from me, but he doesn't have the money, but he needs to approach a mortgage bank. By the time he approaches a mortgage bank and they run all the process, the house will be getting to him, let's say, at 15 million. You know, that's an increment in the cost that is even not affordable for him in the first place. So that discourages them, you know. Meanwhile, these mortgages are supposed to encourage you to buy these houses almost at the same price and then give you a longer repayment period so you can structure yourself. But we don't have that here. Mortgages almost doubles the price when you go to mortgage banks, except for the Federal Mortgage Bank, which has a single-digit interest rate and a longer repayment tenure, which is what a mortgage should be like. But their capacity has not been able to accommodate the bulge you have in the housing deficit. So the banks cannot, based on the realities in the economy, cannot do more than they are doing right now. So we still need the government to help in policy making and stuff like that to ameliorate some of these changes and make housing acquisition a bit more efficient for people.
For us in Hall 7 Real Estate, we have gone ahead. We have, give or take, like 280 people or more that have access of our off-takers that have accessed these Federal Mortgage Bank loans. We have a dedicated mortgage unit that once you purchase our property, they'll help you in documentation. As we all know, I had a previous interview on AIT some times back. The challenge people have in accessing mortgages is documentation. Our team are professionals. They help you within the span of 2 weeks. They're able to present and perfect your documents for you and do the affordability rate for you. And within 6, 8, 9, at most 12 months, your mortgage is out. Yeah, and you continue paying according to the years of service left. Younger people get to pay 30 years, 25, 15, as the case may be, based on your earnings and all. So we have a team dedicated to that. And of course, we try to encourage people that at least every Nigerian is entitled to one mortgage in his lifetime at 6%. That's the cheapest money we have so far. But as much as 15 million, you can get as much as 15 million for that. So we have a functioning mortgage system, a mortgage department in our office. So they help in perfecting that.
Now talk about mortgage. People, it is not very flexible, getting off-takers. You need off-takers for you to even start anything. You cannot just start a development without people that will occupy it. Now these off-takers, it's not easy for them to get mortgages. Yes, we have the Federal Mortgage Bank, which they are doing well. However, there are some kind of development that Federal Mortgage Bank cannot even finance because they have a limit. They have a limit. And then you find out that somebody who has, let's say, 5 years to retirement, how can he raise such money to do that kind of project? So it's a major issue. And then again, we, the developers, the government can also play a big role, by ensuring that they make things come easy for us. For instance, if we have access to loans to develop, why not? We'll go in there, get these monies and develop. And then have some form of mortgage arrangement for these people to come and buy these houses. You know, we don't expect somebody, a client, to just come and pay us 100%. You do an instrumental payment. You know, and when you're sure that yes, you can get this money from these banks, why not? You will open up the districts.